The rich get richer is definitely true, as a lot of rich folks invest in real estate. You might wonder why. It's because if you play your cards right, that's where the big bank is. One man that has put this advice into practice in pursuit of the American dream is Sam Zell, who owns a lot of property and makes a lot of money. In today's video, we take a look at the person who owns most of America. Let's get right in. Sam Zell is a popular American businessman, philanthropist, former lawyer, and of course, billionaire. Zell is the founder and the chairman of Equity Group Investments, a private investment firm that was established way back in 1968. He might be filthy rich now, but he didn't always have it so easy. His parents, Ruchla and Berek Zelonka, were Jews that immigrated from Poland. Not long after arriving in the United States, they changed their first and last names to Rochelle and Bernard Zell to fit in. The family then moved from Seattle to Chicago, where his father became a jewelry wholesaler. So it's clear to see that he didn't have it easy when growing up. Fast forward to 1963, and Zell graduated with a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan. But that wasn't his first major milestone. While Zell was still in school, he went into the business of real estate and managed a 15-unit apartment building for free room and board. In no time, he was managing the owner's other properties too. One smart boy. By the time he graduated, that venture had garnered up to $150,000. Wow. With the help of his fraternity brother Robert Lurie, Zell won a contract with a big-time apartment development owner. He then studied law at the University of Michigan Law School, and by the time of his graduation, in 1966, he and Lurie were already managing over 4,000 apartments and owned over 100 units outright. Talk about an early success. After school, Zell went ahead and sold his interest in the management company to his good pal Lurie and moved to Chicago. 2 years later, Zell founded the predecessor of Equity Group Investments and was joined in his pursuit of mastery 1 year later by his former friend and partner, Robert Lurie. The duo went on to develop the small firm into a huge enterprise until the sad death of Lurie in 1990. Equity Group Investments was only the startup for Equity Residential. Equity Residential is a publicly sold real estate investment trust that invests in apartments. As of late 2021, the company owned about 310 properties consisting of over 80,000 apartment units in Washington, Southern California, New York City, San Francisco, Seattle, and others. Equity Residential is the 5th largest owner of apartments in the United States and also the 14th largest apartment property manager in the U.S. Simply incredible. The company's origin dates back to Equity Finance and Management Company, which was established in 1969 by none other than Sam Zell. Zell the genius also founded the Equity Office Properties Trust, which also happens to be the largest office owner in the U.S. Equity Office owns 80 office properties comprising 40 million square feet. Wow, absolutely record-breaking. The company is owned by funds that are managed by the Blackstone Group. Back in 2006, the Blackstone Group announced that it would be buying Equity Office for a record-breaking $36 billion, which was the largest leveraged buyout in history at the time it was bought. The Blackstone Group then sold out several of the record amounts. By 2009, a lot of the properties were underwater, as they might say. Zell also founded Equity Lifestyle Properties, which was an operator of produced home and resort communities. As you can see, Zell had his hands in a bunch of things, which is probably why he has a net worth of a whopping $6 billion. Yes, impressive, but we're not surprised. That's one busy man. However, that's not all, as it seems like Zell also had other investments. Zell affiliates owned the energy company Santa Fe Energy Resources, the Schwinn Bicycle Company, the mattress company Sealy, and the drugstore Revco. The real estate genius also had ties in the ownership of the department store chain Broadway Stores, and by the year 1985, Zell took over ITEL Corporation. Maybe owning a bunch of these things is just a hobby for the man. Between the years 1992 and 1999, the real estate genius's Chillmark Fund owned Jacor Communications Incorporated, which was a successful radio broadcast group that also comprised of a television station. However, by 1999, the company was purchased by Clear Channel Communications. In mid-2007, The Tribune Company had declared that it had accepted Zell's offer to sponsor the transaction of the LA Times, the Chicago Tribune, and other media assets of the company. Later that same year, Zell the genius made the company private, and the very next day he became the CEO and chairman. He went on to sell the company's 25% interest in Comcast Sportsnet Chicago and even the Chicago Cubs. However, due to the troubling debt received as a result of Zell's leveraged buyout and the unforeseen harshness of the Great Recession, the Tribune Company was forced to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy reorganization in late 2008. Bummer. What's the fun in wealth if you can't give back to the community? We guess that's what Zell asked himself every day. He and his wife Helen are known philanthropists who focus on the arts and, of course, education. Some of the programs that have been on the receiving end of the Zell family philanthropy are Northwestern University's Kellogg School Zell Center for Risk Research and Zell Scholar Program, the Ounce of Prevention Fund, the University of Michigan with the sponsorship of the Zell-Lurie Institute for Entrepreneurial Studies, and the Master of Fine Arts Creative Writing Program, the Museum of Contemporary Art, the University of Pennsylvania Wharton School's Zell-Lurie Real Estate Center, and the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. That is a lot. Also, according to the foreword, the real estate genius is a major donor to causes in Israel. His donations include a $3.1 million donation to the Herzliya Interdisciplinary Center in Israel and separate donations to the Israel Center for Social and Economic Progress, a free market-oriented Israeli think tank founded by Daniel Doran. In the United States, he has given major gifts to Jewish causes as the American Jewish Committee and the Bernard Zell Anshe Emet Day School, a Chicago Jewish primary school named after his father. The businessman donated a whopping $100,000 to Restore Our Future, a super PAC that helped in the election campaign of presidential candidate Mitt Romney in 2012. He also donated to Chicagoland Jewish High School, leading to the change of the name of the school to Rochelle Zell Jewish High School after his living mother. He also donated $50,000 to the John Bolton Super PAC. What's better than a giver? Not a controversial person, but Zell seems to be that sometimes. In June 2008, a piece for the Washington Post broke with the title, "The LA Times Human Wrecking Ball." Didn't take it easy on the real estate genius, as Los Angeles-based columnist and editor Harold Meyerson held Zell for ransom for taking bean counting to a whole new level and added that he's well on his way to destroying the LA Times. Meyerson went on to place Zell in the same bracket as James McNamara, who was sentenced to life in prison for the famous 1910 LA Times bombing, which killed 21 employees. Meyerson ended his article by stating that life in San Quentin sounds about right for the businessman. Ouch. Also in 2010, the New York Times wrote an article on Zell's and Randy Michaels' management of the Tribune Company that was titled, "At Flagging Tribune, Tales of a Bankrupt Culture." The article speaks on a culture of uplifting debasement and sexual harassment, with company execs openly talking about the sexual suitability of employees in the company and a small circle of execs that were earning the big bucks and bonuses despite being knee-deep in bankruptcy, in addition to being unable to cease reduction of profits. Zell's been involved in more controversies, but let's put a pin on that and move on to his personal life. The businessman had been married thrice and divorced twice. He is a father to 3 children, his daughter Joanne and his son Matthew from his first marriage, and a daughter Kelly, who he adopted during the second marriage. He lives in Chicago, no surprise there, and has other homes in California, Sun Valley, Malibu, and Idaho because why not? The real estate guru also seems to be a bit of an author. In mid-2017, he dropped his book, Am I Being Too Subtle? Straight Talk from a Business Rebel. The book discloses his ideology of discovering business and investment openings everywhere and anywhere. Unlike magicians, businessmen reveal their secrets. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. What did you think of Sam Zell and his business enterprises? Let us know in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to get more content just like this.